Welcome back to the A Game. I'm Holland Bostrom.
And I'm Alan McManus. And if you are looking for the best place for all things Appalachian State sports, you have come to the right place.
We have a great show for you today. Marnie Bonn has a new Mountaineer Spotlight this week that you won't want to miss. Also, Shaheem Stafford hits the town to talk with you guys on App State Sports.
We have got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it here on the A Game.
O'Shawn Williams tied the program record for three-pointers made in a game with 10, but App State men's basketball fell to South Alabama 78-70 on Thursday evening. Williams finished with a career-high 32 points, shooting from beyond the arc. He joins Ronshad Shabazz and Nate Cranford as the only Mountaineers to ever make 10 three-pointers in a game. Adrian Delph joined the party by hitting 4 threes off the bench to finish with 12 points. Isaac Johnson added 6 points, a game-high tying 8 rebounds, and a team-high 6 assists. Johnson now has 931 rebounds in his career and passed Mel Hubbard for 4th place in program history in rebounds. Williams hit a pair of threes in the first minute of the game to give the App State an early 6-3 lead. South Alabama responded with the next 8 points to build an 11-6 edge and pushed its lead to 10 points at 23-13. The Black and Gold came right back with a 9-1 spurt of their own, but the Jaguars scored 7 straight to extend their lead to 30-22. App State pulled within a point at 34-33, but South Alabama's Andre Fox made a three-pointer in the closing seconds of the opening half to give the Jaguars a 4-point lead at the break. South Alabama extended its lead to 17 points at 64-47 with 7 minutes left to play. App cut the lead to single digits at 69-60 with just 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go thanks to an 8-1 run. The Jaguars pushed their lead back to 72-60, and the Mountaineers were unable to get closer than 8 points the rest of the way. App State also tied its season high with 14 made three-pointers in the game. The Mountaineers also made 14 trays against Louisiana on January 6th.
App State men's basketball outscored Troy 41-27 in the second half en route to a 68-59 victory on Saturday afternoon on Alumni Day. The win improves App State to 16-13 on the season and 10-8 in conference play. The 16 victories this year are the most for the Mountaineers since also winning 16 contests in the 2010-11 season. In addition, 10 conference victories are a new Sun Belt high and the most in-conference wins since 2010 and 2011 season. It was Alumni Day at Holmes as a part of its 100th anniversary celebration. In all, App State welcomed back over 50 former members of the program. The Mountaineers jumped out to an early 13-6 lead, only to see the Trojans respond with the next 10 points. Troy held the remainder of the lead for the half and took a 32-27 lead into the intermission. App State opened the second half with a 12-2 spurt to jump in front 39-34 with just over 16 minutes left. Following a pair of Troy free throws, the Mountaineers scored 6 straight points to open a 45-36 edge with 14 minutes to go. The Trojans trimmed the App State lead to 5, but the Mountaineers came right back with 11 straight points to take their largest lead of the game at 56-40 with 8 minutes to go. Troy would cut the Black and Gold lead to 7 points, but could get no closer. Justin Forrest paced the Mountaineers with a solid all-around game, finishing with 24 points, 6 rebounds, a team-high tying 4 assists and 3 steals. Forrest also went over the 500-point plateau on the season, becoming the 19th player in program history to do so. O'Shawn Williams reached double figures for the 7th consecutive game with 15 points, while Isaac Johnson finished with his 6th double-double of the season with 13 points, 10 rebounds, and a team-high tying 4 assists. The Mountaineers will have the week off and host Coastal Carolina on February 29th at 4:30. As a part of a doubleheader with the women's program.
Led by 2 incredible performances from Lainey Gosnell and Bailey Plummer, App State women's basketball edged Georgia State 64-59 in overtime at the GSU Sports Arena. App State is 5-2 over its last 7 games, improving to 9-16 overall and 6-8 in league action. Georgia State falls to 8-17 overall and 5-9 within the conference. Gosnell and Plummer dominated the game with a combined 40 points and 31 rebounds, hitting 15 of App State's 24 field goals. Gosnell poured in a season-high 24 points, while it was a personal best on the road for her career. The junior shot 10 of 20 and grabbed 7 off the glass. 15 of Gosnell's points came in the second half and overtime. Plummer posted a season-best 16 points and grabbed a personal-high 24 rebounds for her 6th double-double of the season. The 24 rebounds are the second most in a game in school history and the second highest outing in a game this season in the country. The senior also had 3 blocks and 3 assists. App State finished the game on a 9-0 run to snap GSU's 4-game win streak and sweep the season series. App shot 5 of 7 in overtime and forced the Panthers to miss their last 5 shot attempts of the game. Brooke Biggett played big down the stretch, scoring 5 of her 8 points in overtime, starting a 9-0 stretch and ending it when she hit a clutch 3-pointer with the time winding down to push the lead to 64-59 with 16 seconds remaining. Georgia State came back in the fourth quarter to eventually take a 2-point lead with 1 minute left in regulation. Ashley Polachek, who led the team with 6 assists on top of 8 points, came down for a pull-up jumper to tie up the game and force overtime. App State had a chance to win the contest in the fourth, but Polachek's layup fell just short. With the win, App State is tied for 7th with Arkansas State after the Red Wolves' loss to South Alabama.
App State women's basketball suffered a 78-70 loss at Georgia Southern on Saturday afternoon. The Lady Mountaineers fell to 9-17 overall and 6-9 in conference play. After scoring only 8 points on Thursday, Stanley bounced back with a game-high 23 points on 7 of 15 shooting with 3 trifectas. The 23 points are the most in a road game this season for the junior. Ashley Polachek scored 13 points while Brooke Biggett rounded out the leading scorers with 10 points and dishing out 4 assists. Bailey Plummer led the team with 9 rebounds on top of 7 points. A fourth quarter in which Georgia Southern scored 31 points proved to be the difference, where they shot over 50% from the field with 4 3-pointers and went 11 of 13 from the free throw line. Georgia Southern, who came into the game second in the conference in 3-pointers per game, shot 50% from behind the arc, going 9 of 18. The bench also scored 46 points, with Barber scoring 18. Alexis Brown scored 16, giving the duo a combined 34 points. App State will aim to bounce back when it hosts the Louisiana schools next week. The Apps will face Louisiana on Thursday at 6:30 before hosting ULM on Saturday at 2 p.m.
Coming up after the break,
stay tuned to hear from everybody's favorite Mountaineer Spotlight host, Marnie Bonn.
App TV's original program, Pixel Peek, is back and better than ever.
Pixel Peek is a weekly news show covering the video game industry. Everything from the most recent announcements to hot topics and controversies are covered by us, your hosts.
Pixel Peek is also your home for interesting and objective game reviews and in-depth analysis of the industry's biggest names.
You can watch Pixel Peek every Wednesday afternoon at 3 on watchapptv.com or on any of these TV channels.
Thanks for stopping by, and we hope you come back to visit us here
on Pixel Peek.
Hello everyone, welcome to Mountaineer Spotlight. I'm your host, Marnie Bonn, and this week we are here with Coach Smith. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I love the new turf. It looks really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited. As you can see, we're doing a few more things out there, putting some padding up and stuff like that. But yeah, we're super pumped.
So I know you've been a head coach for 18 seasons now. This will be your 4th year coaching here at App. How has being a Mountaineer impacted your coaching?
Oh, a lot. I think that coming in, you have a expectation for, kind of what it's like on the mountain and different things like that. But then kind of when you get engulfed in the culture and just the family aspect of Appalachian State, I think it'll change you, and it's a special place for sure.
Definitely a great community. I know your conference is about to start. How have you been preparing for it? I know you've traveled a lot so far, and it's kind of hard to keep the boys motivated. How do you go about all of that?
Well, number one, I think we got a good group. So I think, just kind of on the front end, you're having conversations with the guys through the recruiting process and everything else, just about the expectations and of what the standard should be here. So I think, just starting out with that, I think you have a group of guys that are super motivated without really having to push them at all. But, I think that, as the season gets closer, it just kind of takes care of itself. It's a lot less talking from me and a lot less, I try to stay out of the way and let them do their thing. But, as the season gets closer and closer and, we're 6 games in now, and I think that, with that, they start to see conference kind of rolling around the corner. But, we don't really talk about conference a whole lot. I think we try to treat every game pretty equally in terms of what we're trying to achieve here.
I know coaching can be a stressful job. How do you find time to just relax, focus on the team, your family?
Well, you mentioned earlier about kind of being on the road. I think being on the road gives you a lot of time to be together with the team. So, you got a lot of time where you're kind of goofing off and different things like that on bus rides and different things like that. But, our team meals, one thing that kind of a team rules, we don't have any cell phones at the team meals. So that gives you a lot of time to kind of interact. And, we try to do every one of our meals as a team. So I think that first and foremost just gives you an opportunity to, kind of hit pause for a little bit and just communicate with one another while you're enjoying a good meal. But when you're on the road and you're going through those times where guys are having different struggles in the classroom, or they're going through study halls on the road, or different communication and having to achieve different things while they're out there, it's a whole different sense of bonding, really, because everybody's so busy and doing what they do. And we try to engage them in a lot of what's going on with us at home as well, with our families and different things like that. It's just we're not just out here on the road, we're away from our families, and it creates its own family. That locker room's a pretty special place. But I think we've got a group of guys that really, kind of appreciates that, appreciates their coaches, appreciates the family aspect of what we're doing through our training staff and our strength staff and our coaching staff and our players and our academic staff and everybody else. Everybody plays such an important role in that. So I think that, as you're trying to keep that balance, it's good when everybody's kind of cognizant of what everybody's going through.
Exactly. I know you've coached for a long time. You've learned a lot in your time. How do you teach these boys to kind of live after they graduate off the field? Yeah,
I think, quite honestly, I think we probably talk more about that than we do about anything else. We often say that, at the end of the day, we're not going to know if we did a good job for 20 years or not, because in 20 years, if they're, a successful member of their community and they're a successful husband and they're a successful father, and then we've at least played a role in that. Through the recruiting process, we communicate a lot just through our role as coaches, not just how to throw a baseball or how to hit a baseball, but our most important role is helping them develop as people, and setting a good example for what it's like to be, whether they want to get into coaching or not, what it's like to be a good professional, what it's like to be a good husband, what it's like to be a good father, and how to treat people, how to treat people in times of adversity and everything else. So we actually, at the end of our team meeting or practice right there, was the last thing we talked about, was just the standards by which we should be holding ourselves, and we put a lot of stock in it. We work extremely hard at it.
That's really awesome to hear. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I wish you luck tomorrow against Wake Forest. I hope we come out with a win.
Yep, me too.
Now, back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marnie. Now switching to the baseball diamond. Freshman Peyton Idle smacked a 2-out, 2-run double in a 3-run 6th inning at App State's 7-3 defeat at Kentucky. The Mountaineers scored all 3 of their runs in the 6th inning, cutting the deficit to 5-3. Senior Robbie Young and junior Andrew Grekel opened the frame with a pair of walks. After a sacrifice bunt from sophomore Hayden Cross, junior Bailey Welch slapped a single to the left side to plate Young from third. Idle then drove his double down the right field line to score Grekel and Welch. Welch finished with a 2-for-4 day at the plate, notching a pair of singles, an RBI, and a run scored. Grekel, Idle, and junior Alex Layshak all finished with a single apiece. Starter Tyler Tuttle delivered 5 2/3 inning on the mound, allowing just 1 base runner through his first 3 innings. The left-hander finished with 6 strikeouts to boost his season tally to 10 punch-outs. Kentucky struck first in the 4th inning to jump out to a 2-0 lead. The Wildcats added 3 more runs in the 5th, building a 5-0 advantage after a 2-run single from Austin Schultz. University of Kentucky tacked on a run in the 6th and 7th innings to boost the score to its final tally. Starting pitcher Jimmy Ramsey earned the victory after giving up 2 runs in 5 1/3 innings on the mound.
Junior Kendall McGowan hit a 2-run homer in the third inning in a 21-4 defeat at Kentucky on Saturday afternoon. The Mountaineers held a 4-2 advantage after scoring 3 runs in the top of the third, but Kentucky responded with 10 runs in the bottom half to take a commanding 12-4 lead. App State scored its first run in the third inning on a balk from Kentucky starter Mason Hazelwood. Senior Luke Allison trotted home from third after reaching base to open the inning via an error. Sophomore Philip Cole reached base all 3 times Saturday, going 2 for 2 with a double, a single, an RBI, and a walk. Cole's double in the second inning knocked in junior Andrew Grekel from second base. Grekel swiped his second bag of the season earlier in the frame. Kentucky recorded 3 innings with 4 or more runs scored. Leadoff batter Elliott Curtis paced the Wildcats with a 3-for-5 day at the plate, knocking in 3 runs and hitting one of UK's 3 home runs in the contest.
App State women's tennis knocked off number 48 East Carolina in a thrilling 4-3 victory on Wednesday at the Deer Valley Racquet Club. App State has won 4 straight matches, its last 11 home bouts, and the victory over the 48th ranked Pirates is the highest since the ITA rankings were established. Facing an ECU squad that is ranked 30 spots higher than them, App State pulled through late thanks to Selena Ate's straight set win that clinched the contest. With the score tied 3-3, Ate defeated Ho Xiaoxia 6-4 and 6-1 for her 3rd straight win and 2nd consecutive clinching triumph. The freshman improves to 3-0 in her early career. The Pirates won court number 2 to tie up the contest before Cassie McClay won her 3rd straight contest, defeating Michelle Cube 6-2 and 7-5 on court number 3, and also moving to 3-0 on the season. Following a win by court number 4 by the visitors, Sasha Pisareva came away with a timely come-from-behind win over Lisa Hofbauer in number 1 singles. Pisareva fell the first set 5-7, bounced back for a 6-4 victory, and while trailing 4-3 in the deciding frame, scored the final 3 points to give the black and gold a 3-2 lead. Maria Jose Zacharias suffered a 3-set defeat at the hands of Minette van Vreden, 4-6, 6-4, and 6-4 again in a hard-fought contest, setting up the final contest at court 6. The Mountaineers captured the doubles point to take a 1-0 lead with 3 tight finishes. Pisareva and Virginia Poggi were the first to finish when they dealt Nastya Reddick and Michelle Cube 6-3. After Kate Earnhardt and Ate narrowly fell to Ho Xiaoxia and Minette van Vreden in a tie-breaking 7-6, 7-4 defeat, the top tandem of McClay and Zacharias came through in the clutch when they dealt Lisa Hofbauer and Sybil Tannick a 7-6 and 7-4 loss to clinch doubles, and it's the 2nd straight match in which Zacharias and McClay clinched the doubles point.
After the break, we'll hear what fellow App State students around campus have to say in this week's Q&A game. Stay tuned.
Hello, my name is Ozzy Ostwald, and I'm your host for App TV's original program called Religion and Life. Each week, I interview a guest who takes us on a discovery of religion, politics, peace, social justice, and other topics relevant to how religion and culture interact in our lives. I hope you'll join me each week for this invigorating and provocative view of religion in life.
To the Q&A game, I'm your host, Shaheem Stafford, and I'm standing here with Grace. Now, I guess my first question is, what athletic conference does App State plays in?
Wait, can you say that again?
What athletic conference does App State plays in?
Southeastern?
No. Give another try?
I mean, I know we're in a good one, a good conference. I just don't know exactly which one.
It's the Sun Belt Conference.
Oh, I should have known that. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Want to give it a guess?
No.
The Sun Belt. Sun Belt, right?
Correct.
The ACC?
Oh, they play in the Sun Belt.
Easy. That was easy, right? Easy.
They're in the Sun Belt.
The Sun Belt Conference.
Sun Belt.
Correct. Ooh, okay.
The Sun Belt? I think it's the Sun Belt, right?
Nah. ACC.
It's the ACC?
No, I'm just playing. It's Sun Belt. That's Sun Belt.
The Sun Belt Conference.
Sun Belt Conference.
You said that with confidence. Okay. My second question is, it's been snowing a lot lately, so what's your favorite activity to do in the snow?
Definitely snowboarding. Yeah.
Mine too. I actually taking a snowboarding class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, snowboarding class is fun. Definitely recommend it.
I mean, I love snowboarding. I love the mountains, so I mean, great time, great place for it.
Probably go on a run.
My favorite activity is to hang out with my friends and, just being around them and being with this guy too. So, yeah.
Activity, probably sledding on the trays from Central. Yeah.
Stay home and drink hot chocolate.
Usually like Snardies or like just have fun in the snow, like drink.
I like going on the parkway and then also just like hanging out with friends around campus.
Usually just stay in bed.
Watch some Netflix.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I like to play in the snow with friends, take pictures.
Cute pictures?
Yes, most definitely.
Honestly, just like walking around and seeing people build snow people is kind of cool. I like playing in the snow, like sledding and stuff. I haven't skied since I've been here yet, but love to do that before it melts. So.
Oh, hands down snowboard here.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Already, yeah, it's definitely the funnest thing out here to do. Sledding.
Sledding. All right, good, man. Sanford.
Yeah.
Sled. Or go skiing.
Snowboarding for me. That's cool, though.
I wish I could snowboard.
I wish I could ski.
Definitely watching movies.
What's your favorite movie?
Forrest Gump.
Run, Forrest, run. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
We have a pretty special softball player among us here at App State. 30 of the top NCAA softball student athletes who excel both on and off the field were selected as candidates for the 2020 Senior Class Award in collegiate softball. App State softball's Carrie White was selected as one of those 30. To be eligible for the award, a student athlete must be classified as a NCAA Division I senior and have notable achievements in 4 areas of excellence: community, classroom, character, and competition. White, a third baseman from Hampstead, North Carolina, started at third base in all 56 games during her junior year. She was named to the All-Sun Belt second team after leading the Mountaineers in 7 categories, including runs scored, hits, doubles, triples, total bases, stolen bases, and at-bats. Off the field, White excels in the classroom as a special education major. She was named to the 2019 Sun Belt Commissioners List for maintaining a 3.5 GPA or better. She also has been named to the App State Athletics Academic Honor Roll numerous times for having a GPA of 3.25 and above. In the community, White has volunteered with her teammates at many different organizations, including the Hospitality House and other organizations in the area. The App State softball team ranked 8th in community service among college softball teams, according to the Helper platform. White is also active in the App State softball camps, teaching young girls the basics of the game. The Senior Class Award winner will be announced during the 2020 Women's College World Series.
The App State softball team split the opening day of the Charleston Invitational, falling to Bradley 2-0 in the first game and defeating Charleston Southern 2-0 in the second game. Senior Sydney Holland threw her third complete game shutout against Charleston Southern, moving to 5-0 on the season. Against the Buccaneers, Holland gave up 2 hits and struck out 6 in her 5th win. The senior now has a team-best .2 ERA and 27 strikeouts on the year. The Mountaineers scored both of their runs in the top of the 6th off a hit and 2 errors. Alyssa Heinrich received the loss in the circle for Charleston Southern, giving up 4 hits and 5 walks in just her 7 innings of play. The first game of the day was also a low-scoring affair as the Braves scored 1 run in the first and second inning to take the win. Both runs were scored off of RBI singles. Kenzie Longenecker received the loss in the circle, giving up 7 hits and striking out 6. The senior is now 2-3 on the year, and at the plate, Parrott had 2 hits and Barnes added 1.
The softball team dropped 2 games on the second day of the Charleston Invitational. falling 7-5 to North Carolina A&T and 1-0 to College of Charleston. The Mountaineers are now 8-5 on the season. App State struck first in the first game against the Aggies, scoring 1 run in the first inning and 4 in the second. After Kiefer walked and reached second on a wild pitch, Morton singled up the middle to bring her home in the first. Taylor Thorpe started the rally in the second with a double to left center. She was moved to third off an infield single from Gabby Barato. Emily Parrott also had an infield single to bring Barato home. Kaylee Kiefer scored both Barato and Parrott off a single to right center. She was able to score on the play as well off a throwing error by the first baseman to give the Mountaineers a 5-0 lead. From there, the Mountaineer defense would hold the Aggies until the fourth, where they scored 1 off a single to right field. 4 more would score in the fifth to tie the game. Both teams were scoreless until the seventh, when NC-A&T would score the final 2 runs. Sydney Holland came in to pitch for Brazil and received the loss in the circle after the Aggies scored on a single and ground out to second base. In the second game of the day, College of Charleston scored 1 run in the bottom of the third to take the win. The run would go down as unearned after the game-winning run reached base on an error. Kenzie Longenecker received the loss in the circle, giving up 2 hits and striking out 3. Delaney Smith had 2 hits for the Mountaineers, while Parrott, Thorpe, and Barato each added 1. The App State softball team ended the Charleston Invitational with a run rule of Ohio University, taking down the Bobcats 9-1 in 6 innings. The Mountaineer bats exploded for a season-high 13 hits en route to their 9th win of the season. The Bobcats scored their only run in the second inning off a sacrifice fly to left field. 5 runs in the top of the 6th would do it for the Mountaineers, as the 8-run lead would end the game. Emily Parrott, Bailey Morton, Taylor Thorpe, and Kiefer had RBIs for the Mountaineers. Sydney Holland got the start and the win in the circle, giving up 1 run and 5 hits in her 5 innings of work. She also struck out 4. Kenzie Longenecker came on to pitch in the bottom of the 6th for the Mountaineers, shutting down the Bobcats with 3 strikeouts. The Mountaineers will play in their final tournament of the season next weekend, making the trip to Greensboro to compete in the UNCG Invitational. And now, before we wrap up the show, it is time for our Player of the Week. App State women's tennis newcomer Sasha Pisareva was named the Sun Belt Women's Tennis Player of the Week. Pisareva earns her first Sun Belt Weekly Award, while it's the first time since Teradora Savo last season that a Mountaineer was honored for their weekly performance.
And Sasha is recognized after her first match for the Black and Gold, where she defeated number 18 Anna Rogers in straight sets, 6-3 and 6-4, in the season opener against number 8 NC State. As the number 1, Pisareva dealt Rogers just her 6th loss of the season, dating back to the fall, and snapped her 3-match win streak. But that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm Holland Bostrom.
And I'm Alan McManus. See you next week on
The A Game.